Whether it's in our relationships, our communities, or just inside our own hearts, we all encounter situations where trust fractures and things just kind of fall apart. Now, in our journey through the 1189 chapters of biblical wisdom, we have reached chapter 122, Numbers 5, and today we're going to unpack some ancient wisdom that actually speaks directly to modern human psychology. The core question we're tackling today is this: what happens when broken things are left unhealed? Because let's be real, the question isn't whether things are going to go wrong in life. They absolutely will. The real question is whether we're willing to face those broken pieces with honesty, responsibility, and grace. Are we going to sweep them under the rug, or are we going to bring them into the light? You see, every single relationship and community carries the possibility of brokenness. Today, we're taking what is undeniably a challenging ancient text from the book of Numbers, and we're going to reveal its profound modern relevance when it comes to hidden resentment and the breakdown of trust. I know it might seem like just a dry list of ancient rules at first glance, but underneath all that, it's honestly a masterclass in human nature. So here is our roadmap for today. We'll start with the unhealed brokenness, move into protecting the ancient community, and then look at bringing shadows to light. After that, we'll cover God's design for restoration, wisdom for lasting trust, and finally wrap up with your step toward healing. All right, let's get into it. Section 1. The unhealed brokenness, a provocative hook. Section 2. Protecting the ancient community, the literal layer. Okay, grounding ourselves in the literal reality here. God was instructing Moses on how to preserve the health of an ancient camp that had over 1 million people in it. How do you even manage that? Well, the text outlines an exact, step-by-step process of restitution for when someone breaks faith. First, you have to actually realize your guilt. Second, confess the sin. Third, make full restitution. And fourth, and I find this part so fascinating, you add a fifth to it. It's basically a 20% penalty. It's like an ancient convenience fee for bad behavior. You know, it shows us that healthy communities require tangible responsibility and justice. Just saying a quick "I'm sorry" isn't enough. You have to actually make it right. Now, the text also outlines what sounds to us today like a really harsh jealousy ritual. It involves what it calls a water of bitterness that brings a curse. It's this elaborate process where a husband who suspects his wife of unfaithfulness brings her to the priest. And while the literal ritual of drinking bitter water sounds shocking and super foreign to us now, we need to zoom out for a second to see the underlying principle. This ritual was specifically designed to take a festering, hidden suspicion, the kind of paranoia that can totally destroy a marriage and a family, and force it right out into the open before God for a definitive resolution. Section 3. Bringing shadows to light, the allegorical and moral layers. When we look through these specific lenses, we start to see a really stark contrast. Hiding our brokenness, that always leads to permanent pain, paranoia, and the slow, quiet decay of our relationships. But courageous confession, even though it hurts in the short term, is literally the only true path to healing. Because here's the thing. Hidden problems, whether it's unconfessed guilt, simmering resentment, or just quiet dishonesty, they don't just disappear. By confessing and making amends, kind of like adding that 20% restitution we talked about, we actively repair the breach. Section 4. God's design for restoration, the anagogical layer. We really have to reframe how we view these ancient laws. They weren't just punitive or meant to be mean. They reflect a much bigger, ultimate aim of restoration. It's all about reconciling people, exposing the hidden rot, and preserving the entire community. Behind these strict, ancient desert laws is a beautiful and profound truth. God's justice always aims toward restoring people to the light, not just exposing their brokenness so they can be shamed. The ultimate goal is always to bring the outsider back in and to bring that fractured relationship completely back to wholeness. Section 5. Wisdom for lasting trust, the wisdom layer. This is where we get to extract the timeless principles for our lives right now. This ancient chapter builds a solid framework showing that strong relationships simply cannot survive without absolute honesty. Point number 1, integrity requires responsibility. Lasting relationships are built when people consistently choose humility and accountability over simply trying to keep up appearances. It's simple. If you break it, you own it. You don't hide it. That right there is the absolute bedrock of trust. Point number 2, hidden problems rarely stay hidden. Avoiding conflict often just prolongs the pain. I mean, we've all seen this, right? You ignore an issue with a friend or a partner, hoping it's just going to magically fade away, but instead it mutates into this deep bitterness. This just proves that ignoring brokenness never truly removes it from our lives. It literally just moves it to the shadows, where it grows. And finally, trust is earned through honesty. Healthy communities address their problems with grace, demonstrating that justice and mercy always have to belong together if you want to create lasting freedom. When a community, and hey, that could be a family of 4 or a company of 400, when they commit to honest restitution and true forgiveness, that is where true freedom actually lives. Section 6. Your step toward healing, the life application mirror. All right, it is time to bridge this 3,000-year-old text right into your living room today. I want you to pause for a second and ask yourself these exact questions. Is there a relationship in your life right now that needs healing? Are you actively avoiding a difficult truth just because it's uncomfortable? Where do you personally need to stop blaming others and take responsibility? And lastly, what is one tangible step you could take today towards reconciliation? This is about forcing a moment of reflection on our own hidden rot. Because let's be honest, we all have it. So what area of your life could begin to heal if you just had the courage to bring it into the light? We have to acknowledge that confession is what opens the door to healing. Bringing your shadows into the light is quite literally the only way to truly restore what is broken. The bitter water of truth? Yeah, it might be really hard to swallow at first, but it brings absolute clarity and it ultimately cleanses the wound. I'm going to leave you with this core piece of wisdom to reflect on today. Healing begins when we stop hiding what is broken and courageously choose truth, responsibility, and restoration. Well, we have officially journeyed through the 5 lenses of Numbers chapter 5. That is 122 chapters down, and we still have 1,067 chapters of ancient wisdom left to uncover together. I really encourage you to take that courageous step toward the light today. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and keep seeking wisdom.